St Mary's Star of the Sea College in Wollongong has a reputation for being a school of excellence in terms of academic success and the contribution it makes to the community. Recently, the college has embarked on a journey of discovery. The purpose of that journey is quite simple. Teachers are asking the question, how do students learn best? Although the question is simple, the research it has given birth to is rich, complex and challenging. St Mary's can now be rightly thought of as a teaching and research college making a new and most valuable contribution to the educational community. St Mary's is now a college of learners teaching and teachers learning.
The college made a very clear decision in 2007 to support teachers' professional learning and to do it in ways that were sustainable and supported by research. And so in 2008 we launched our action research projects. And we decided to head in this direction because we wanted teachers to be asking powerful questions about how students learn best. And really, the most powerful thing that a school can do for student learning is to improve teacher learning.
Some time ago, the college made the judgment that the most powerful form of professional learning was situated within the world of the teacher, drew on the teacher's experience and fed directly into the immediate work of the teacher and students. Key to this judgment is the value of sustainability. Unless a teacher can sustain her or his learning over time, and unless the effect of that learning can be seen in the classroom over time, the investment may have been wasted.
The school provided me with a chance to research a couple of years ago, and that action research model was a really valuable way to interact with students and staff in really significant ways that made a difference to the students' learning within the college. It doesn't stop there though. Sustainable learning at the college, apart from the research opportunities, also includes big bite breakfasts, as we call them, and the masterclass or the lesson plan. And as you can see from the name, Big Bite Breakfast, it's all about IT, it's all about our one-to-one laptop program, and it's been a very valuable experience to learn about and incorporate, for example, Web 2 tools into our learning in the class. It also gives us a chance to work on the Janison online environment where we set up the online lessons for the students. The masterclass and the lesson study approach has been an opportunity for faculties to collaborate in ways where we can open up the classroom and reflect, model and test and guide and eventually create a better learning environment for the students.
I was inspired by the work of the Coalition of Knowledge Building Schools, schools from all sectors in New South Wales dedicated to action research and practitioner inquiry. And so the first 10 projects that we published in 2008 covered questions across the whole gamut of learning at St Mary's. And it was driven largely by student voice data. This is the sort of data which teachers don't often look for. But I've found that if you ask students about their own learning, it can be transformative for teachers. An example of this would be holding student focus groups about their learning and starting that focus group with asking them to choose an image that speaks most to their experience of learning in the classroom.
The methodology of the projects were carried out according to the idea of action research, which entails a method by which a community acts to solve problems, to improve knowledge of the environment they are working within, or to revise strategies in a progressive and a reflective manner. Dialogue between staff and students helps teachers improve understanding of the student's perspective and experience of learning. Listening to student voices as a means of opening up a dialogue and exchange can lead to improvement in the learning and teaching outcomes. As our principal Greg Elliott has said, student voices are critical to the review process as they are key stakeholders in school improvement and are a powerful source of evidence for the efficacy of our teaching. Student voice is a means by which teachers can develop understanding of the strengths and weaknesses of the teaching strategies used and the curriculum structure. It also encourages the students to engage in the process of reflection about their own learning, as well as encouraging a development of sense of ownership over their own education. Student forums are an effective way in which teachers can listen to student voices. Student forums are informal conversations with students held in groups, and students are encouraged to drive the conversation. An example of this occurred with the visual arts project, where students were shown stimulus images and were asked solicitation questions like, choose an image that relates to how you are feeling about yourself, your skills as an artist. What do I like or admire in art? What engages, triggers or responds or inspires you? Or in an art studio context, what type of experience do you find the most satisfying?
Now, after undergoing the experience, I feel as if my knowledge has been increased. Class is just a lot more enlightening now.
The research evidence is not confined to focus groups. St Mary's quality data comes in many different shapes and sizes. Consider the project called Art Growth, in which students were asked to compose photographs of themselves holding signs about their learning. The composition and signs were evidence of what works and what gets in the way of good learning in the visual arts.
What I was looking at was how do senior students learn best. So we were based it on an action research project in which we were compiling answers as we were asking questions. So the research sort of shaped as the year went on. We started with forums where the girls looked at pictorial images and they talked about what stimulated them, what they took from them, what do they think laterally from the photo. And then they talked about their experiences in different classes, what style of teaching suited them best, how they felt they learned and what they carried out of classes. We then triangulated that with teachers' experiences where they looked at the students' comments and they also talked about their own favoured ways of teaching. And then the girls later kept diaries in which they went from class for a day for each class, and then they sort of compared how they felt in different environments. And this added up to a picture in the end, which is really based on the student's voice.
The research projects are not a set of haphazard studies of how students learn, but a systematic approach to learning about learning, or action research. The professional community of the college now understands that part of what it means to be a good teacher is to be a good researcher.
As schools become more and more accountable for the quality of their teaching and learning, we believe that we can continually improve the learning experience of students by enhancing the learning experience of teachers. I don't think it'll be too long before all good schools develop a systemic approach to action research and knowledge building.
This systematic approach is divided into 6 stages. Stage 1 is the recruitment of the researchers. The leadership of St Mary's has found that stepping up to become a researcher is a shift in teacher self-concept. Many teachers need someone to suggest that engaging in action research would be a good professional step. The college supports up to 10 projects per year. Stage 2 is the development of a research proposal and measuring this against the organisation's strategic plan or strategic intent. Schools are such rich places for inquiry that the real challenge is not so much finding a topic for research, but refining the topic to confine it to a manageable scope. Stage 3 is wide reading and evidence collection. It is at this stage that the researchers begin to engage with the student voice data. It is also the point at which professional and intellectual transformation begins to take place. Stage 4 is when the researcher compiles a draft report and presents this to the academic supervisor for review. At this stage, it is often necessary for the researcher to gather more data to test the validity of emerging assumptions. Stage 5 is publication. The results of the inquiry are published alongside the work of the other researchers and are presented to the community as a portfolio of our knowledge building. This is often presented and celebrated in a conference setting. Stage 6 is perhaps the most satisfying for the researchers, and that is the research comes alive in the life of the college as a recursive learning process, whereby the changes and growth in the practice of the teacher or a group of teachers is experienced, measured and improved over time.
St Mary's Star of the Sea College is a Catholic school, and it's founded on the tradition of St Benedict. And St Benedict wrote a rule, and the first words of that rule were, "Listen with the ear of your heart." And essentially what these research projects have been about has been tied directly to the mission of this college, to listen deeply and to respond to the needs of people around us, and in particular to the needs of students and their learning.
St Mary's, a college where the students teach the teachers, where teachers submit assignments and where no one has all the answers. It is fast becoming a community of learners, deeply committed to the development of everyone and to the notion of building knowledge through deep listening and powerful reflection. Teachers learning, learners teaching.